What's happening, people? Hey, so today we have a Braman sales consultant, Braman Miami sales consultant, who I want to introduce you guys to for anybody in the Miami area, Florida. If you are looking for a car guy, somebody that you can trust, somebody that you can go to whenever you're looking to buy a car. This guy, I mean, pretty much has all sorts of brands on there. And before I bring him in, just kind of give you a little bit of his background. Like I said, Hansel Zepeda. He has two kids. He enjoys time with his kids and he helps people in any way that he can. Some of his hobbies are being with his kids, playing video games, watching anything interesting like documentaries. I'm with you, brother. And going out to explore new places and places to eat, right? I'm going to put his contact info down below. One of his burning desires is leaving his family with generational wealth. I can definitely agree with you. And some of the keys to his success is being persistent and hungry, never giving up, and being open to learning new ideas. So without further ado, let me introduce y'all to Hansel Zepeda. Hansel, can you hear me, brother?
Yes, sir.
How you doing, man?
Good, good, man. Thank you for having me on. How you doing?
Good, good. I'm loving the background.
Thank you, man.
So you're in Miami, right?
Yep.
What part of Miami?
Downtown.
Downtown. Cool, cool.
Yeah.
So, like I told you earlier, the intention of this podcast show, talk show, whatever you want to call it, is to basically help people, find the services that they need, right? Whether it's cars, whether it's attorneys, whether it's health insurance or anything, right? And also, basically to give you the limelight, on how you can help people. Um, So, I mean, we'll go right into it, man. So, just go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself. Name, age, where'd you come from? How was your childhood like?
So my name is Hansel Zepeda. Born in Miami, raised in Palm Beach County. Um,
I didn't
started
know
selling. Yeah, started selling cars in 3 years ago. I actually started in sales, doing door-to-door sales with you, Jordy. Um, that's
I
pretty much
remember.
it.
Teens Against Drugs and
Yeah.
Alcohol.
Yep. Yep.
Nice, nice. So, going back into your childhood, how was it growing up for you? Did you have both
It was a
parents
little
in the
tough.
house?
No, my dad wasn't around. He got deported at a young age.
Oh, wow.
My mom was a single mom with me and my two sisters. She started from the ground up, like learning how to drive, learning how to work. She ended up having her own business, her housekeeping business, and she just worked really hard. And I think that showed me and my sisters how to be successful. To work hard and get strive for what we want in life.
Nice, nice. And is she still doing housekeeping today?
No, she's retired. She's just
Oh, wow.
hanging out now. Yeah.
Nice. So she did that all while you were growing up?
Yep.
And you are what? The oldest, the youngest,
I'm the middle child.
middle child? Nice,
Yeah.
nice. Okay. And you have two other sisters, right?
Yeah, older sister and younger sister.
Cool, man. So you said you were born in Miami?
Yeah, I was born in Miami, Jackson Memorial.
What? When'd you come to West Palm? I didn't even know that.
It was actually when my father wasn't around. My mom needed some help, so we actually had some family in Palm Beach to give us a hand to so my mom could start off that journey of raising us alone.
Nice, nice. And at what age did you come to Palm Beach?
Probably like 4 or 5, somewhere around there.
Oh, okay. Cool, cool. So you came to Palm Beach around 4 or 5. Did you ever play any sports? What kind of things did he do growing up?
I played basketball for the most part. I like basketball. Got into baseball a little bit, but I really didn't play. Like I just like watching it.
Nice, nice. Did he ever play on any teams or anything for basketball?
No, no, I never
No.
did that.
Gotcha, gotcha. Cool, man. Cool. So, basically, what do people misunderstand about you the most?
Mm, I think a lot of people. I mean, something a lot of people do is just judging a book by its cover. I think that's pretty much the biggest thing I think I could say.
Gotcha, gotcha. And how did you, if you, for example, if you could be remembered for one thing, what would it be?
Mm, I think it will have to be like my kindness. Whenever I can, I try to go out of my way to help somebody. That's like the biggest thing. Because it's tough to find someone that's good in this world. So I try to be remembered by that whenever I can to try to help somebody, give someone a hand.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. And tell us a little bit about how you. So you said you did teens against drugs and alcohol, door to door sales, right? What kind of other jobs did you have growing up?
Um, I did like a lot of kitchen, like cooking. I did like fast food restaurants, like one of my first main jobs in a Italian deli. And then I went into culinary school. Then I went into more bigger
Nice,
restaurants. I did that for like 6 years. I did a
nice.
little bit of construction for like a year and a half, and then I got into selling cars.
So your first job was what? The door to door sales?
Yeah, yeah. I started that when I was 13, and then I got into Wendy's was my first job. Yeah, when I was like 17 or so. Yeah, somewhere around that age.
Nice. So you went to door sales. You went to Wendy's afterwards, and then what'd you do after Wendy's?
I was in an Italian deli. I spent like 3 years there learning different kinds of, it was a genuine Italian deli. So like I learned a lot about different things like balsamic vinegar. I didn't know what balsamic vinegar or like prosciutto. I don't know about prosciutto then, and like other stuff like basil. So I got like more interested in food at that time.
and
Just opened my mind on food.
and when you were working there, were you going to culinary school?
Yeah, that was actually when I started going to school. Did a
Oh
course
wow.
for a year, finished it, and then I started working in kitchens.
Oh wow. That's awesome, man. And how do you say that experience kind of helped you, you know, do what you do now?
Um, that just opened my mind to doing, other things like that, making more money because I was spending a lot of times in the kitchens. I'd work two jobs, and being a young parent, I had my first child at 16 years old,
Oh
so I
wow.
had to like learn how to try to make more income working the same amount of hours, and that's what made me move from, because I went to school for a year in culinary, and then I liked it, I enjoyed it, but it just wasn't making enough money, so got into construction. It helped, but ultimately, selling cars is like the biggest step for me.
Nice, man. Nice. And you were going to school and working while you're going to culinary school?
Yeah, yeah. I was working at the
Wow.
deli,
And
and
raising
then
a kid.
yep, yeah,
Wow.
yeah. I was doing both.
Must have been tough, man. All right. And what would you say is a funny story your family tells about you that you'd like to share?
Mhm.
Anything. You got to have one.
That's a good one. Let me see. I'm trying to think. That's a good question. I just think that when we went to the theme parks, it was just like I was being teased on all the time because I don't like roller coasters. That's
That's
all.
funny.
No.
That's funny.
Yeah.
And tell me about the three most influential people in your life. Who would you say
Um,
that is to you?
First, my mother, and I got to put my mother and my older sister, in the same spot. Like they both are number one because my mother, she worked a lot, created her own business to raise me and my two sisters, and then while my mom was doing that, my older sister was being like my second mom. She was there like at a very young age, cooking
Yeah.
for us, cleaning the house, teaching us how to do chores,
Yeah.
and yeah, those two I think would be the highest. And then I mean, I can name a lot of other people, but I've had a lot of people
Yeah.
come
Yeah.
into my life to help.
Okay. Okay. And did your mom, what's she do with the business?
What do you mean, like with her business?
Yeah. Did she sell it or pass
Um,
it down?
she just passed it down to somebody. I think that's she just helped somebody out with it.
Nice, man. Nice. Did you ever help her out with that? Or you were like
No, I
too
was too
young?
young. Yeah, too young at the time.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay. And what would you say your morning routine looks like?
Well, change is waking up, getting ready for work. Um, when I can, I'll read a little bit of a book or walk my dog, and then
What kind of
just
books you like to read?
inspirational, just anything interesting that will, makes me learn something new.
What was the last book you read?
Um, it's called what is it? I know it, but I just can't think of the name. Like I'm like, hold on. I
Yeah,
can
I was
talk
like
about the
that.
book. It's pretty much it's Napoleon. It's the author is Napoleon Hill. It's about him having a conversation with the devil. It's crazy. But
Oh yeah,
it's yeah, it's mind opening about how the world works and things like that. Yeah, I forget what it's called.
I
I
actually
can't think of.
actually heard about a book like that from him.
Yeah, yeah. Napoleon
That's
Hill. He
awesome.
writes a lot of books like that a lot of people read.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. So, the reason I wanted to bring you on here was to obviously, um, you know, help you promote your business, right? And maybe if anybody needed a car guy, um, in Miami, they could definitely contact you. How did you even get into the car industry?
So it's a long story, but a good friend of mine when I was a lot younger, he was always talking about Hondas, and I didn't at the time I wasn't really like big on Hondas, but he got me interested in it, and I was always fond of learning how to drive manual. So I wanted to learn, and he taught me. He's like, yo, buy this car. This would be a perfect car for you to learn. So I ended up making a big risky move. I traded the car that I had at the time was like reliable, and buying an older car that was manual so I can learn. So once I got that car, learned how to drive manual, then I went
I
on and got
still don't know
other
how to
different.
drive manual.
Yeah, yeah, it takes a little bit of patience. It
One of my
takes
friends
about a
one
week.
time, one of my friends one time let me practice on his car, and I think he gave me like 3 shots. What's it called when you can't freaking stall?
Yeah, you stall. Yeah, you
I
stall
think
enough.
I stalled like 3 times, and he got me out the driver's seat.
He gave up on you.
He was
Yeah,
like, "Dude, you're gonna have to buy me a new what's it called?
new clutch.
A new clutch." Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, "All right, cool. I'll never learn this." So
Yeah.
yeah, man.
So yeah,
So
I got into Hondas. I started modifying them. I got into other different. I kept getting different Hondas, trading them out, and then eventually, I wanted a newer car, and I went to the dealership. My sister knew someone that worked at the dealership. I bought a car from him, and it got me curious. Like, since I had done sales, door to door sales, I liked it at that time, and I wanted to try selling cars. And actually, funny stories. Before I got the guy that sold me my car, I had two other sales guys, and I didn't like, how I was being treated and things like that. So
two other
once
sales
I,
jobs or
what's that?
guys? Two
Like
other sales guys?
other sales guys,
Gotcha.
yeah. I actually had the same dealership. I didn't like the experience, so once I got into the car business, I knew I wasn't going to give anybody that kind of experience. Like I already learned that wasn't
Yeah,
like
yeah.
my first lesson about car sales experiences and stuff like that.
Now you said you were modifying cars before?
Yeah, yeah. I used to like
What
make them faster.
what kind of cars did you have?
Just Hondas. That's all I used
Just
to play
Hondas?
around with was Hondas. Yeah,
Any certain models?
just the Civic. I had the Civic and I had a Prelude. Those were the two that I had them for the longest, and I ended up getting switching into the Honda Civic SI. It was like my first brand new car. It was a 2018. Yeah, 2018.
Did you ever go really fast?
Yeah, yeah.
Or should we keep it off the record?
Yeah,
That's awesome, man. That's awesome.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to get into the Hondas back in my high school days, but I didn't want to spend a lot of money on mechanics.
Oh yeah.
Were you doing it yourself?
No, I had mechanics. I had to go through a lot of different mechanics to finally find one that I could trust and do the right things. And yeah, it was a process.
Man, one time I took my car to a mechanic at a Chevy Impala. I think I was still in high school. and I took my car to a mechanic. Car was working, right? But when I
Mm,
went to pick it up, I had to pick it up with a tow truck. Like the car wasn't working anymore.
mm.
So
That's crazy.
yeah, I mean, I hear you, man. Trust me, it's hard. It's definitely hard to find a good mechanic. I mean, I got a good one now, so God bless his soul.
Mm,
You know.
mhm.
All right. So you were modifying cars. You were all into cars. And then you went. You started upgrading. And started going to the dealerships. And how to go from there? Like, just somebody
Um,
gave you the opportunity to work.
yeah, yeah. Someone gave me the opportunity to, work there, and it was a learning process, and I just enjoyed it. I like cars and working with people.
Nice, man. And how long you been doing that now?
3 years, 3 years now.
3 years. Yo, that's a
Hmm.
killer view behind you.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I like it. I sleep with the window open like this too. I do.
What floor are you
Yeah.
on?
34.
34? What?
Yeah,
I love it.
34.
I love it. Awesome, man. Awesome. So, what would you say is it was the learning experience actually in the car game for you? Like, what was probably one of the most difficult things being in the car business that you've had to deal with?
Mm, I think just like, honestly, you first go into car sales trying to make money, and I think you learn like it just goes a lot better when you actually are trying to help the customer and not trying to just make a dollar. So when you can actually meet the customer's need, that's what you'll make the customer happy. You'll give them a good experience,
Yeah.
and you can have repeat customers like that. I've had now that I started selling cars in Palm Beach County, and then I moved here to Miami. I still have people from Palm Beach that reach out to me because they remember the good experience I gave them.
You've had people drive to Miami?
Yeah.
What? That's awesome. So, how long were you selling cars in Miami for?
A year now. I just got a year in Miami, August 15th.
So, you've been in Miami for a year, and how long were you selling cars in Palm Beach for?
For 2 years.
For 2 years. Nice. Where would you say is there's more clientele at? Probably Miami, right?
Mm, I mean, it's just in Miami. I sell there's 8 different brands there to sell. I'm not selling all of them, but there's
Variety,
more clientele
variety.
because of that. Yeah, there's more variety. In Palm Beach, I was only selling Hondas. Here, I'm selling BMW, Genesis, um, Hyundai, Minis, Cadillac, and then luxury pre-owned.
Nice, nice. So it's definitely a better chance to help more people, that
Yeah,
are looking
definitely.
for variety.
Hmm.
Nice, man, nice. What would you say your favorite car is? I've
Oh,
seen you with a couple different cars,
yeah,
and
yeah,
I'm like, wow.
yeah. I like the one I have a lot right now. The blue BMW you just saw not too long ago. I like that one. I sold one today. It's one of my favorite cars, the M3. That car is
The
really nice
M3.
and fast. Yeah,
What? How fast
yeah.
did they go?
I mean, I'm sure they could top somewhere between 160 to 180, somewhere around there. But
What? That's
just
nice.
the
That's nice.
acceleration, the torque, yeah, everything like that is fun to drive.
That's awesome, man. And what would you say is probably like what would separate you from another car sales guy when I walk in there?
Like I said, it's just me like making sure that you make that customer happy, like give them a good experience and also quick. That's the other thing. I know like back when I first started selling cars, there was someone that did like a huge survey, and like I think they picked it was like 3 things. I only remember two. Like if you'd rather go to the dentist or buy a car, and then like almost everybody picked going to the dentist.
Why is
So
that?
it's just people think it's more like painful to go to a dealership than doing your teeth,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
which was
And how is
surprising
every
to me.
how has everything been now with COVID?
Um, at first it was a little slow, but it's gotten better. But now with COVID, like there's a huge chip shortage on new cars, so it's like it's tougher to get new cars right now. It's also makes the new cars prices a little higher. But with the new car shortage, that means the used car demand has gone higher. So like people that have used cars, their values for their cars have gone higher. So
Have gone up,
I
right?
think Yeah, it's gone up. So if they wanted to trade a car in right now, is like the best time.
Why is there a car shortage though? I heard something about like another country, something about like chips or something like that.
Yeah, yeah, the chip shortage. That's like I think it's somewhere in Asia. I haven't really looked into it too much, but the chip shortage is what is creating like um the car shortage. Like, the same thing goes for any like other technology. Like for an example, since I like video games like Xboxes and PlayStations, like that's why there's not many of them, and that's why they're selling for even more than your suggested retail price. Everybody's
But
selling those
I
more.
don't really understand that though. Like, oh, I don't know if you know anything about it. What does a chip have to do with a car?
So the chips, like every car has a computer. The chips are inside the computer. So that since they don't have enough chips, they can't make cars. They can build everything else, but they can't.
They can't
They
just make
can't put up.
more.
uh, I heard. I don't know if this is true or not, but I heard a rumor that one of the chip uh, manufacturers was burnt
Manufacturers.
down. Yeah, it was burnt down. Like, and I don't know. It's just there's a lot of rumors. I haven't really looked into it. Like I said, I don't know exactly what's going on, but a lot of things. It's not just cars. There's also a shortage of shipping containers. Like the U.S. receives a lot of shipping containers, but they don't send enough of them back. Like that. There's
Oh,
also a shortage of. I just found out recently from a friend of mine. There's a shortage of truck drivers. So like everything's taking longer to get to where it needs to go as well.
oh yeah, 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 for sure. I mean, that's what everything. I mean, I
Yeah.
have customers that their ID cards are taking longer than usual to get to them. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
It's happening with everything. Now, have you do you feel like people are coming in with more requests for cheaper prices, or people are just kind of getting what they
It's
can
really the
get?
same. Yeah, it's really the same thing. I mean,
Because I
the
mean, people's
reality is,
jobs affected.
yeah, I mean, the reality is that they might want a discount on certain cars. Like new cars, it's tough to get a discount right now just because there's not many cars. So it's like a supply and demand situation. So since there's less cars, they're not discounted. Like, let's say before my dealership was receiving like 300 new cars, they're able to be more aggressive on the pricing because of that. But since they got less than 100 cars coming in now a month, they can't.
Wow.
They obviously have to. They have to generate. They're not going to generate the same amount of profit with 300 cars, but they got to generate enough profit with 100 or less cars.
Now do you feel like you're still able to get the client, great discounts, or they're just not even giving? Are any dealerships even giving discounts, or what's going on?
Yeah, yeah. There's. It just depends on what the kind of model they're looking for. If there's like a good amount of them, then yeah, they can probably get a decent deal. But if you're looking like for the M3 today, for an example, that was like the only that we only received like three of them, 3 or 4 in the last
Three of
three or
them?
four. Yeah, in 3 or 4
Wow.
months. Yeah, those are going with a premium. Those are being like charged over sticker. Like you're not discounting that car.
Wow. So what's a typical car that you've seen discounted better than others?
I mean, like I sell Hyundais. You can, if you're looking for like an Elantra, Sonata, those. If we have a few of them, we can do a discount on. It just depends. Like I said, if you have more than others, then you can discount those. But if you have like one model, they're not going to discount it because might be the last one they see for a month or so.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And what do you think is a common myth about like your field or job, that people have?
I think the monthly payments they have in mind, it's like it could be basic math, and they think they can walk out with a lot lower of a monthly payment, but that's that's probably the
What are
only
you
thing I
seeing
can
like
think
the
of.
monthly payments to be right now? For
What's
like
that?
what are you seeing like monthly payments to be right now? How do they even determine that?
I mean, so it's just like it's simple math. Like I said, if you're looking at a $20,000 car, you just divide it by 60 months, 72 months, whatever you're looking at, and you have to add, the interest rates, which that depends on your credit, obviously. So
That depends
it
on your
it
credit.
varies. Yeah, it varies.
And what's the lowest like credit score you've seen of people being able to walk out of there with a car?
Mm, in the 500s, you can be in the
In the
500s and
five
still,
hundreds?
yeah, you can still manage to
Wow.
get a car. It depends, like depends on how expensive the car is, depends on how much you're putting down.
Yeah, yeah, of course.
even though
for
you're,
them.
it just all depends on the scenario.
And what's a typical down payment somebody should expect on maybe putting down, or it all depends as well.
Usually, usually like if you're a first time buyer, it's like 20% or something like that of whatever the car is worth. But yeah, it depends. Like if you've already financed the car, then you could do a lot less money down or even zero if your credit's good.
So if your credit is good, you could pretty much walk out of there with a zero down payment.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Wow.
Mhm.
Yeah, I've seen like crazy interest rates, like point nine or 0.09. Crazy
Yeah, those
interest
those
rates.
that's usually on like new cars. The interest rates are always lower on new cars than used cars.
Oh wow.
Mhm.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. All right. Now, what's the biggest challenge that you're facing in your business right now, with COVID and everything like that? What do you think is a big challenge right now that
Not
you're
enough cars.
dealing with? Not
Not
enough
enough cars.
cars.
Just like like real estate right now. There's more buyers than houses.
So you feel like there's more buyers for cars right now?
Yeah, for sure. Because
What?
we have people. Yeah, we have a lot of people moving from California and New York coming down to Florida. So there's definitely a lot more buyers than cars.
Wow. That's crazy. I didn't even think that. And in your opinion, what is the most important personality trait someone would need to work in your industry or be
Mhm.
successful in your job at?
Being friendly and understanding of a customer situation. Just trying to help.
Gotcha, gotcha. And do you get you have do you buy leads? How do you get your customers right now?
So I work in the internet department. There's two departments. There's the floor department and then the internet department. The floor department is just someone that stands, waiting for a customer to walk in. I'm in an internet department. The dealership pays like different third parties, like Car Gurus, Auto Trader, different third parties. So we can generate leads and people that are going online shopping for cars. They click on a car. If we have that car, then we receive the lead through internet, and then we give them a call to let them know that the car is available, and if they want to schedule a test drive or they have any questions, we can help them with.
So you're in the internet department.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I'm
Oh
at.
wow, I thought you were on the floor. How do you
Uh,
say? What would you say is the biggest difference with both departments?
um, I think you're a lot busier in the internet department, that's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. How many leads do you think you talk to a day?
It depends. Like, I mean, today I sold two cars, so I didn't talk to anybody except those two people. But if I don't have
Yeah.
anything coming in, it could be depends 5 to 15 people, maybe more because
That's
if I
it?
yeah, well, that's if like those are people inquiring that day. But
Oh, true.
if I don't have anybody I'm talking to that inquire that day, then I'll just make phone calls to leads that I received previously. Like 2 or 3 days ago, 5 days ago. I'm calling. I'm making phone calls.
Yeah, I mean, I've made like 1,000 calls a day before.
Mm.
I
Yeah,
didn't talk to nobody though.
yeah. I think the most phone calls I ever made was like close to 100 or something like that.
Well,
But
yeah, I mean,
it doesn't. I can't get to that high now because I'm selling such a variety of different brands. So like,
yeah, exactly. I'm not making those calls either. I mean, a lot of my business now is referrals and people. Yeah, I mean, mostly referrals. I mean, I'm still calling leads, but it's mostly referrals. That's cool, man. That's cool. And have you had like a mentor in the car business?
yeah, a lot of them. Yeah, I've
Yeah.
had a good amount of them. Yeah.
What's something like that you would have to learn being in that industry? I mean, I feel
Mm,
like I can just get on the floor and just sell, or do you just need, or do you need to learn certain things? Like you probably learned about cars, right?
yeah, I learned a lot about cars and the different features and stuff like that. I think something that you have to learn by selling cars is like the different scenarios. Someone that has negative equity, how to handle that. Especially like now with the used car demand being so high, there's certain like when you have like someone right now, if they have a lease that belongs to Honda, for an example. They can't trade that car. They can't trade a lease in now to a
No?
Hyundai dealership. They can't now. They can only because Honda won't allow another dealership to buy their lease. So
Why is
you
that?
could just because of the fact that the used car demand is high, so that everybody, it's their the value of their car has gone higher. So Honda knows that a lot of other dealerships are going to be able to buy their cars easier, and get, it's in a way that they're losing business. So they're trying to cut that off, so that way, if you want to get rid of your car, you're going back to them to either sell them the car and then go somewhere else, or just to trade in the car with Honda again, for an example.
Wow. And
Mhm.
you were talking about negative equity. How do you deal with that? Like, how do they deal with that?
So
Because I had a family member that was dealing with that, and they thought that they erased the negative equity, and no, they just added it on top of the bill.
mhm.
Is that
so
what
yeah,
happens?
yeah, that's what happens. Some dealerships will tell you that you traded in a car and then you got rid of the negative equity, but that's not the case all the time. It just depends. Like, um, so like obviously a car is a depreciating asset. It doesn't
Exactly.
gain value
Exactly.
unless it's like a very rare car. But so I think the best way to get rid of negative equity is like getting into a lease. A lease is a 3-year agreement, but you're obviously limited to miles. So it has to work for your lifestyle. So if it doesn't, if you drive too much, then a lease doesn't work for you. So it all depends.
So if I have negative equity, I can come to you and hop into a lease, and
hmm
that negative equity gets erased.
After the 3 years of keeping the car. So like because when you when you're leasing a car, you're only having an agreement for three. You can do a 4-year agreement too, but 3 years is usually the best. So once you finish the 3 years, instead of doing like a finance option could be 5 or 6 years, or even like rare cases 7 years. You can get rid of negative equity in 3 years as opposed to 5 or 6. So at the end of a lease, you're returning the car. It's not yours. So it's kind of like you're renting it. So once you finish those
Yeah,
three
yeah.
years, you've paid off that negative equity and you return the car back. So you're back at zero. You don't have any negative equity. So usually that's like the best way to get rid of negative equity.
And how does that work though? It just kind of gets put on the monthly premium, and then after three
Yeah.
years,
Yeah. So let's say like you trade in a car, you owe 10,000 and your car's worth 8,000. So you have 2,000 of negative
2,000
equity. So you trade it into another car, the monthly payment
to a
will come in
lease.
negative. Yeah. So just an example. It's not
Yeah,
accurate,
yeah,
but
yeah.
let's say the monthly payment of the new lease is 250, but since you have 2 grand in negative equity, you divide that by 36 months, and then you get,
Yeah, yeah. Whatever
I
the
think
number
it's
is.
56, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So 56
Uh huh.
added to the 250, so you're at a 306 payment. So once you
And at
finish
the
that,
end of 3 years,
yeah, you finish that lease, and then you can get that same car and pay 250 instead of 306.
gotcha, gotcha. And do you see a lot
Yeah.
of people doing that?
Yeah, yeah, a lot of people do that. Like 80% of our business is leases because a lot of people are, especially people that have money, they know like not to buy a car because it's just a depreciating asset, and then after driving for so long, you need more maintenance, so it spends more money. At least you just keep trading the car in 3 years. In 3 years, you normally don't have a lot of issues with the car. It just all depends, obviously, how you drive.
Yeah, that's my style. I definitely want to start leasing. I mean, I've
Mhm.
heard I can get like a tax write off for every single payment. Um, I mean, it's just a lot of benefits to a lease, right? Like you
Yeah, if
said,
you
I
put
can
it under your
switch the
business
car.
name, yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I can. I mean, not to get into tax consulting, but just what I've heard, right? Always check with your tax consultant. Um, and then also, I like the fact that hey, after 3 years, I mean, I'm the type of person that I want to be in a new car, right? So financing for 7 years, I'll be sick of the car in two,
right. Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I used to do
That's
that,
like
and
me.
every
I've changed my car like I think I think I've already changed my car 6 or 7 times in the 3 years that I've been in the car business.
I was heading down that road. I was heading, and every time it was just like my monthly payments were going into more and more and more and more. So I
Yeah,
just
negative
like
equity.
forget that. Nice man,
Yeah.
nice. So What time of the day do you get most of your work done?
Usually all days. You know, like I start off at 8:30 to 8 at night.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
What,
I I can choose to get off earlier some days. Like I can start off at 8, get off at 6, and then like other days I can start at 11 and get off at 8 o'clock.
Man, what do you work? 5, 6, 7 days a week?
6 days normally. There's every
Six.
other week I have 2 days off.
Gotcha. What days are you usually off?
Sunday and Tuesday.
Sunday and Tuesdays. Cool,
Mhm.
cool, cool. And did you always want to sell cars?
No, honestly, I didn't. I didn't think it was something I was gonna like doing, but now I definitely enjoy it.
Now, when you were doing the door to door sales, um, back in well, how old were we? Like 13?
13, yeah, I was 13 when I started that.
Did did you think you were gonna sell cars?
No, at that time, no, definitely not.
Yeah, I mean, you went to culinary school,
Yeah.
construction. I tried construction too. I did a day of it. I remember I went and bought boots. I went and bought my goggles. I went and bought everything, right? I mean, I was ready. I wanted to see, because my plan was to go to get my contracting license, right? So it was either go to school for 4 years, I think, or do 5 years of in the field. And I mean, I was suited up, right? I mean, I was ready. I got steel toe boots and everything. I went, and it was hard as heck.
Yeah, it's not easy. I
I
did
was
roofing
like,
for
yo,
a few years, and I wanted to
for
quit
a
on the
few
first day.
years.
No, no, for a year. I did
Oh,
roofing
for a
for a
year.
whole year. Yeah, it was
I
tough.
got to give it to construction workers. I mean, every time I see them, I take my hat off to them because that's definitely hard work. And you did it for a year where in Palm Beach?
Yeah, in Palm Beach. Yeah, I worked on this
Nice, man,
hotel in
nice.
on Palm Beach Island. It was a big hotel, and we were on there for the project was like 2 years, and I was there for the whole year. You know.
Wow, that's crazy. All right, and going back to the car, to your job, to your industry. Um, what kind of negative things do you see that other salesmen do?
A big one is lying, obviously, but you know, that or not. Like I said, it's just like not helping the customer in the way that fits them, with their needs and stuff like that. That's pretty much it.
What would be one way that maybe you know, uh, to kind of put people on beat and kind of know how to know a good salesman from a bad salesman? Like one or two things that you can advise people to watch out for when shopping around for a car.
You just see how the salesman's being if they're paying attention to what you're looking for instead of trying to direct you in what you're not looking for. That's pretty much like the best thing to look at.
Gotcha, gotcha.
Mhm.
I mean, because nobody really like says, "Hey, get this Jeep when you want this Toyota," right? Or do they actually do that?
Um, I wouldn't like compare it to two different brands like that. It just depends on when someone might be better off with a used car, but they put them in a lease because the monthly payment's cheaper. But then in the long run, you know, they could hurt them financially because they're going over the miles a lot. So the used car might have been in their best interest. It depends on the situation.
That makes sense. That makes sense. But with used cars, you get higher interest rates, right?
Yeah, yeah, you do get higher interest rates just because like new cars, the manufacturers like want to give you a reason to buy a new car, so they give you a lower interest rate.
The manufacturers for new cars want to give you a reason to buy a new car, so they give you.
Right.
Oh, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Mhm.
Cool, cool. And what's one lesson your job has taught you that you think everyone should learn at some point in their life?
Hmm. Good question. That's one lesson. Repeat the question one more time.
One lesson your job has taught you that you think everyone should learn at some point in their life.
I mean, I think to me, like how I go forward with every customer is just being nice to them so they can remember you. So that way, when they're ready to come back car again, they can think of you. I think that
Nice,
applies
nice.
to a lot of things.
And have you created any like strategies to kind of keep in contact with your customers?
Yeah, I mean, we have a database of the customers, obviously, that buy cars, and we know when their birthdays are, so we'll send them an email and reach out to them. And also, like, in a year or two, we call them to see how it's going with the car. Which I've had a few people that like they're not happy with their car, so they'll want to come back and switch it out.
Nice. Yeah, I call my customers every month. Some customer be like, "Yes, Jordy. Hey, just checking up on you." No, yeah, man. But honestly, I mean, the way to grow any business, the way to keep people happy is to, make sure you're there for them, right? I mean, I'll be honest with you. I sometimes call customers and they cancel on me. Like I call and they're canceling on me, right? But it's just, like it's good though, even though it some people might look at that as being negative, right? Like some people, honestly, I realized that when their customers call, they won't even pick up the call because they're scared they're going to cancel, or they're scared it's going to be a negative reaction, right? But
Yeah.
my thought on that is, hey, I rather be in this person's face. I rather be there for my customer, whether it's good or bad. And this way, the customer, I mean, in my opinion, starts respecting you more, right? I mean, it's like any relationship in life. You can't just be there for somebody during the good times. You also got to be there during the bad times, right?
Mhm.
So that's cool, man. Yeah, and I've actually I'm trying to get better on birthdays, right? I actually add all my customers on social media, and it's a good way for me to keep in contact with them and things like that. Have you ever tried that or no?
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely.
Nice, man, nice. All right. And what's one piece of advice you'd give to somebody starting out in your career?
Mm. Being patient and just learning the cars. Making sure you know what you're talking about. Um, and like I said, just making sure you focus on customer service. Like you're providing a service is helping someone buy a car because it's not a small purchase. You know, the biggest purchase is probably a house, and then after that is a car.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's true. That's true. Somebody in the comments said exactly agreed. My friend charged me 180 for oil change and filter. I said thank you, but never called him again. Now I changed the oil myself for 30 bucks. I mean, I don't even know how to change the oil in the car. So I take my hats off to you. Um, I don't have that luxury for sure. But yeah, it's going back to, mechanics. It's hard to find good mechanics,
Yeah.
Um, like I said, I took my car one time to a mechanic and I literally towed it out of there to
Hmm.
Chevy. Um, and I think they bought it for like pennies because it wasn't even working. The head gasket, they basically blew my head gasket when the car was completely fine,
Hmm.
and I never seen
Yeah.
that mechanic again.
That's
It's
why.
it's
That's why I tell people, like sometimes it's a little pricey to go to the dealership to get the car service, but at least there, you're gonna have some kind of peace of mind that the car is gonna get worked on right and everything's gonna be done good. Like sometimes I also tell people, you should get a like maintenance packages and stuff like that. Like me, I got
you should get
warranties
what?
on I like maintenance packages and like
Oh yeah,
protections. Yeah, like right now I have on my car. I get them on all my cars now. It's a tire protection. It's like, I think it's called road hazard. So if I get a nail in my tire, it gets replaced for free. Like it's a
do
month.
you
It's a
really
month.
think
It's
that's
something to
worth
pay.
it?
Yeah, because like my tires are $300. Like I think they're $300 to $400 each. If I get a
Wow,
nail in the tire, yeah, I could just patch it, but I can get a brand new tire with just getting a nail in the tire for free.
wow.
So yeah, so
How often do you really change tires on a car? Well, how often are you supposed to?
it depends like on the kind of tire that you have. But I mean,
True,
for
true.
instance, me in Miami, like there's potholes. I've already had two tires damaged that way. So I
Wow.
got those two. That's $600 I saved myself. I think the tire protection alone was like less than $1,000. So I've
For
already replaced
the
all four tires.
for the whole lease?
Yeah, for the whole lease.
for 3 years.
Yeah, for three
Oh wow,
years,
so that's
and
nothing.
I've already replaced 4 tires. So that's $1,200 right there on 4 tires.
Braman's mad at you. Now, do you always plan on like having leases? I know you were telling me earlier that like people with like money that come in, they prefer to lease, right?
Yeah, I mean,
In
it's
your
not only
opinion, do
people with
you just
money.
see?
It's not only people with money, but I just feel like, like I said, it's just they're being smarter about the money. The monthly payment on a lease is cheaper. Um, the car is depreciates, so like after 3 years, you could just trade it in and get another one. So
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
not having any negative equity. You're just like starting off at zero after the 3 years. So you could just, as opposed to if you buy a car for 5 years, you're financing it. You're
And
like,
then
let's
the
say you buy a
babies
thirty
probably
thousand.
ruined the back seat, and now you're
Yeah,
stuck with it.
yeah, yeah. So it just makes more sense to me to lease. Eventually, I think I'll buy a car. I have the car. I have to like the car a lot to buy it. Like right now, it's just I like leasing because I do like I said, I switch my cars a lot.
Yeah, yeah, I hear you, man. What do you think your next car is gonna be?
I have no clue, but it's coming up soon.
You
Like
gotta have
December,
a car in
I'll be.
mind.
I have a few. I have a few. I have a
Which
few. Like
ones?
I
Which
like the
ones?
I like X3 M40. Those are fast and it's an SUV. So I haven't had an SUV yet, but I like the look of the X3 M40. So I might get one of those. I could just get an X5. Those are nice, aggressive looking. I really want an M3 or an M4, but those are high payment, high monthly
Yeah,
payment on
yeah.
those. So
How much
I
could a
don't know
payment
yet.
be for one of those?
M3 easily $1,000 or more a month. Or
What?
M4 and X5 is probably going to be somewhere between 800 to 1,000
And what's the
around
difference
there.
with the M3 and the M4?
The M3 and M4 are almost the same car, but the M4 is a 2 door and the M3 is a 4 door. Hmm.
The M3 is a 4 door and
The M3 is a 4 door, yeah, and the
four
M3 is
door.
a 2 door. Hmm. They're almost pretty
Gotcha,
much the
gotcha.
same car. They just look a little different.
And then the X5, you said, isn't that the SUV?
Yeah, that's an SUV. Yeah,
Oh, that I like that one.
yeah,
I like that
it's a
one.
very popular BMW car. Like a lot of people see it.
Yeah, yeah. What's the monthly payment on that average?
Well, I get a really good discount as an employee, so it could be like somewhere in between 800 to 1,000. But like for a customer, it's a lot more.
Wow. What could a customer probably expect to pay for that?
Depending on the packages and the options the car has, it could be like $1,100 or more. But there's also different trim levels. You have the X5, then you have the X5 M50, then the X5M. The X5M is the most expensive one. I think I've seen someone today, they were paying like for a lease, it was like close to $3,000.
Wow.
It's a
That's
hundred
crazy.
and it's $130,000 MSRP. Yeah, so it's pretty up there.
Wow. And I mean the average miles on the lease is like 15,000, right?
No, you can
Or
do
12.
average. More average is 12,000. Yeah, because that's a
12,000.
thousand miles a month, and then you can do 7,500 miles, 10,000, 12,000, or 15,000.
Nice, man. Nice. All right. So some off the wall questions for you. You ready?
Yeah.
Are you an introvert or extrovert?
I honestly don't even know what that means. I don't even know what that
All
means.
right. So if you had to write a book tomorrow, what would you write about?
Hmm. I think the journey in life and how to handle certain things in life. I think that's what I would write about.
Has there been like something in your life that's been tough that you've had to like kind of think of a strategy for to get around it?
No, I think just life lessons just teaches you how to handle
Like
life.
like 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 when you got the nails in your tire.
I learned my lesson to get road hazards, so I don't have to pay $300 out of pocket for a brand new tire.
That's funny. That's funny. And what would be the title of the book about you if your worst enemy wrote it?
I have no idea. I have no idea. Those are off
Gotcha.
the
Good.
wall questions.
Off the wall. And what was your favorite trip you've ever taken?
I mean, honestly, I haven't really gone anywhere because I've been working since a young age, and I had my son at 16 years old, like I mentioned earlier. So, like, I've only been to Central America when I was 12.
What
I didn't
part of
really go
Central
out much.
America?
Nicaragua, that's where I'm originally from. That's my
Oh,
nationality.
that's where your family's from.
Yeah, I went there for a
Nice.
week. I was young,
What
so I don't
what's
really remember it too much.
what city? Like, is
Manawa,
your mom from?
Manawa, that's the capital.
Manawa. Have you
Yeah,
heard anything about what's going on over there? I heard it's like mad, like tough over there right now.
honestly, I don't know. No, I
No.
don't. No,
Has your mom been back over there recently?
no, no, she hasn't
No.
been.
Wow. How long
I
has it been
like
since you
Seattle.
guys been over there?
Since I was 12, I haven't went back.
Oh
Yeah,
wow.
yeah.
What were you gonna say?
I like Seattle. That's where I went to on my first vacation, like my first actual vacation was in 2019. I went to visit my sister that moves out there. It's nice out there. I'm
Wow.
actually gonna go out there again in November.
Nice, nice. Did you check anything out over there? Like any tourist spots?
I leave that to my older sister. She's like the tour guide. She
You
tells me
just
where
get
I'm going.
ready and go.
Yeah, she tells me where we're going.
And what are some of your favorite foods?
Oh man, I like all kinds of food, but I guess like Asian is my favorite. I think.
Have you ever had dang, what's that called? Is it cho?
Like, what do you mean? Like, I don't know.
There's a meal and it's got like vegetables, it's like broth. It's got like some, I don't know if the meat's raw. You never had it? It's usually at like these
Um,
Vietnamese places. I
I
got to get
can't
the
think of
name
it.
and I'll definitely text you for sure. Maybe
Okay.
you could try it out. And if you could live anywhere in the world, where would it be?
I've always wanted to live in Japan, but like I want to visit there first to really like.
Well, yeah, you like Asian food, dude.
Yeah,
I can see
yeah.
the relation.
I like Japan culture.
Yeah, yeah. I actually think my like we have some sort of Chinese in our bloodline. 'Cause my
Yeah.
great grandmother, she had like these Asian eyes.
Like
I'm
the
gonna
ones you
post a
have.
picture one. No, she had them worse though. She had them
uh,
worse.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. And what was your favorite subject in school?
math. Math was my
Math?
favorite. I like numbers. Yeah,
What?
yeah.
Oh, you like numbers?
hmm
Nice, nice. Like, were you good at it? I like numbers too,
I was
but
good at it then, but I'm not like big at. I'm not really good at adding big numbers in my head. Like I've seen some people in the car business, like they add up big numbers in their head like it's nothing, or subtract it, divide, whatever percentages. Yeah.
and what would you say is a skill that you're working on now?
I mean, just in the car, like selling cars, you're always learning. So that's pretty
Oh
much
yeah,
what I'm
yeah,
learning. Still working on.
for sure. Same with health insurance. You're always learning. Like, there's always something new to learn. Everything changes. Like, do you guys have changes in your industry? Like, we always have changes, right? Like with this whole pandemic, we had a big change. You know, like, do you guys go through that too, or it's kind of like,
Yeah, like leases change every month. Like one car could be going for this much one month, and the next month it'll change. And
oh, it'll change?
yeah, and then also like I said, like other manufacturers aren't letting us buy the cars, so that we have to find ways around that. So, yeah, so
Wow,
we're there's some stuff we had to adapt to because of COVID.
wow. All right, and you said you like documentaries.
hmm
What are some documentaries you watched? You ever seen What the Health?
No, I haven't seen that. I like
Gotta
I
see it,
think my
man.
one of my favorite ones I think is One Strange Rock. That's it's on Netflix, I believe. Or now I think they took it off Netflix and it's on Disney Plus because it's I think it's when I say it's Discovery Channel kind of documentary, I think it's on Disney Plus now. But that's like it talks about how the planet works and it's really interesting.
Yeah. What do they say on there?
Well, they
What's
it's
one thing you've
really I
learned on
think
there?
it's just like there's astronauts that spent over 100 days in outer space and they observe how the world works from the outside and they just learned how different things work um like how much you know plants and trees and all that stuff is really important obviously because it cleans the air
Yeah, yeah.
and it's like there's one huge cycle that with the whole world like just I don't know. I forget. It's been a while since I watched it, but I
Yeah,
like it a lot.
it gets
I gotta watch it
complicated.
again.
It gets
Yeah, yeah,
complicated. I was watching
yeah.
a show or a movie yesterday with my kids about like aliens and stuff being out there. It was like a kid movie. They fell asleep. I ended up watching the whole thing. Cool, man. Cool. So, where can listeners find you online? Like, do you have social media? Do you have websites or anything that maybe your
I
company
just have.
provides or anything?
Um, I mean, if you're interested in cars, we have obviously the Braman website. But as far as me, I just have my social media on Facebook. That's pretty much it.
Cool, cool. And then the number and then the email that we put down below.
Yeah.
Cool, man. And what are three movies you'd recommend to my audience and why?
Mm, I think three movies. Let me see. Me personally, I liked Last Samurai a lot. I watched that when I was very young, like 12, 13 years old, because I like Japan, and it shows like Japanese culture and like country parts of Japan. It's really nice. I like that.
Nice.
Um, let's see what else. What else? There's one movie that's on the top of my tongue, but I can't remember the name, but I know Kevin Spacey's in it. I can't remember the name. I have a lot of movies in mind. I can't really name three, but I just know Last Samurai is my favorite.
And before I let you go, man, what's one thing that you want to tell your customers when they come shop with you, when they come check some cars out, test drive? What's one thing you want to tell them that they should know before they go to Peter right next door to you?
I would just say, just I know I'm gonna make sure you leave happy, you have a good experience, and when you're ready to buy another car, you'll want to come back to me.
Awesome, brother. Awesome. Well, hey, I definitely appreciate you coming on board. And sharing your business with us, man. I'm gonna put all your info down below, and we'll keep in touch. All right, man.
Thanks, Jordy. Appreciate it.
Awesome, brother. Take care.
You too.
So there you have it. Braman Car Sales Consultant. If you're in the Miami area, go ahead and give him a call. Send him an email that you want to come in. He works with all different types of brands. And he can definitely get you right, get you the best service, get you the best price. So yeah, guys, until next time.